A small part of Alec Murdaugh's Moselle property is for sale. Buy it and create cherished memories like the previous owners. That's what they're pitching to people. What not to do when you are a police officer. This pilot tried to kill an entire airplane full of passengers. Shoplift and you die. Another sports athlete accused of murder. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications, and remember, you can listen to us anytime on any of your favorite podcasting apps.
As a pet owner, you want to give your furry friend the very best. That's why Baked in Colorado's CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect choice. These delicious treats not only taste great, but they also provide a wide range of health benefits for your pet. CBD has been shown to have many positive effects on dogs, including reducing anxiety, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving overall wellness. Baked in Colorado's treats are infused with premium, full-spectrum CBD oil, meaning your pet will benefit from the whole plant extract. Not only that, but Baked in Colorado's treats are made with all-natural human-grade ingredients, so you can feel good about what you're giving your pet. They're also free from wheat, corn, and soy, making them a great option for dogs with food sensitivities. Baked in Colorado CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect way to support your pet's health and well-being. With various flavors, including peanut butter, pumpkin, and bacon, your dog will love them too. So why wait? Head to www.bakedincolorado.com today and order your dog a bag of these delicious and nutritious treats. Your pet will thank you for it.
All right, let's get to the docket for today. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and thanks for joining us here today. So let's go ahead and open the record for October 23rd, 2023. And first on the docket, Moselle is up for sale again. That's right. The South Carolina home that once belonged to that loving father, now convicted murderer, Alec Murdaugh, is for sale again. Now, in March, the 1,700-acre Moselle farm sold for about $3.9 million to a guy by the name of Jeffrey Godley and James Ayer. Now, Godley and Ayer are selling a small portion of that property for a paltry $1.95 million, which includes the house and about 22 acres. Now, the property is 4147 Moselle Road in northwest Colleton County, obviously famous now from Alec Murdaugh's murder case. And the ad says that at the quaint 5,275 square foot house has 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bath. The listing describes the estate as a unique property that has the capacity to offer a buyer many potential uses, such as a family residence or some sort of compound, including equestrian pursuits, hobby farming, or just a weekend retreat and destination. And like I said, when you watch the video, and it's not long, we put up some of it here, you can see you're going to create memories just like the previous owners did. Now, maybe we could do a little crowdfunding and we could get it, because, I mean, let's face it, the interior is not my style, the all wood, but it could be where you're done. It's a hunting lodge, right? Big activity rooms. And you could look across and see the dog kennels that don't come with the property, and only imagine what took place there. Maybe you could sell tours to it. I don't know. Next on the docket, what not to do when you're a police officer. Because if you do, it's going to make you a bad cop. A now former New York Police Department officer is facing charges for selling fentanyl and heroin, with prosecutors saying that she negotiated drug deals while she was actually on the job as a police officer. Now, this former officer, you may say, who is she? Meet Grace Rosa Baez. She lives in the Bronx, and she was arrested Thursday and charged with conspiracy to distribute heroin and fentanyl and 3 counts of narcotic distribution, according to the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Now, prosecutors also allege that Cesar Martinez of Yonkers, New York, faces identical charges, and Martinez and Baez shared an apartment together, according to a statement by the United States Attorney's Office. Now, it is alleged that Ms. Baez resigned from the New York Police Department on a Sunday, and she's only been a police officer with the New York Police Department since 2012. Well, by my calculation, that's about 11 years. She knew better. So it is alleged that Grace Rose Baez took an oath to protect and serve the people of this great state of New York, which obviously she did. And she flagrantly violated that oath, which are obviously the driving the nation's deadly opioid crisis, and have been responsible for thousands of tragic deaths in the city and around the nation. That's according to the United States attorney that put out a press release. Now, Ms. Baez, I really hope that, they throw the book at her. Why? Well, she did, in fact, take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, to uphold the law. And I remember I represented a sheriff deputy once who was allowing certain narcotics to be smuggled into the jail. And of course, we showed up for sentencing and we were like, well, judge, he's a police officer, blah, blah, blah. And the judge looked at my client and said, you had a badge, you took an oath, and you spit on it. Whereupon my client was promptly given the maximum sentence that the court could give. And that's the same thing with Ms. Baez. She had a badge, she took an oath, and she spit on it. She should get the maximum. Next, this guy tried to kill a plane full of people. So as you know, off-duty pilots, if they're going back to the city in which they live, they commute for work, they can often ride in what they call the jump seat up in the cockpit. So this off-duty pilot is now accused of trying to shut off the engines on a full Alaska Airlines passenger jet on Sunday and has now been charged with 83 counts of attempted murder. Who is this guy? Joseph David Emerson. And I can guarantee you that his pilot's license is going to be, if it hasn't been so already, revoked. So Mr. Emerson faces the litany of homicide charges, along with an additional 83 counts of reckless endangerment and 1 count of endangering an aircraft, according to police records. Mr. Emerson is believed to have been seated in the jump seat beside the operating pilots. Actually, it's kind of behind them. They were on board of an Embraer 175 airplane flying from Everett, Washington to San Francisco. Now, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, he is accused of attempting to deploy the fire suppression system before crew members managed to subdue him and remove him from the controls. So what exactly is the fire suppression system? Well, what that is on a jet airplane, if you're flying along and you suddenly get a warning light or engine fire light, you arm the fire suppression bottles and you do that and it'll immediately put out the fire in the engine. It also sucks all the air out of it and basically the plane is going to shut the engine off. So apparently Mr. Emerson tried to do this to both engines, and had that taken place, that would have been a big problem because both engines would have been out and unable to restart, because after you deploy that suppression system, the engines basically need to be serviced or rebuilt at a very expensive amount, I might add as well. So that could have been a big problem. Now, the Alaska Airlines has stated that the flight departed Washington State about 5:23 p.m. and was diverted to Portland International Airport following a security threat. Now, the crew secured the aircraft without incident, thank goodness. And if you listen to live ATC audio, it appears to show a pilot describing the person believed to be Mr. Emerson subdued after the incident.
Okay, I'll just give you a heads up. We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit, and he doesn't sound like he's causing any issue in the back right now. I think he's subdued. Other than that, we want law enforcement as soon as we get on the ground and park.
The pilots did request that they want law enforcement as soon as they got on the ground, and they were parked. Now, Mr. Emerson was arrested by the Port Authority there in Portland, and obviously remains in custody. Yeah, you can't go around doing that, ladies and gentlemen. Airplane's dangerous. Don't go trying to shut people's engine off. You don't do that. Next on the docket, shoplift and you die. Now, I have said for a while, if people steal other people's property, the best way to stop that is, maybe you only use deadly force. That's not the law. So now a man has been charged with manslaughter against a GameStop employee who, according to the police, fatally shot a shoplifter as he was attempting to escape. Now, Derek Guerrero was on duty at GameStop store located in Fort Lauderdale. Apparently there's a strip mall there. And a man had taken off with 5 boxes of ultra-premium Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trading cards, whatever the hell those are. Anyway, they were each valued about $120, and he was going to make a mad dash for the exit. Well, it didn't quite work out that way. Guerrero retrieved a handgun from his waistband and discharged a single shot, striking the man in the side. The shoplifter dropped the stolen trading cards, mission accomplished, and fled to a waiting pickup truck outside before a woman contacted authorities. Now, the shoplifter ultimately succumbed to his injuries at a local hospital about 3 hours later. Now, according to police and surveillance video, the footage shows this incident in the store where the shoplifter did not pose a threat to Mr. Guerrero, and he did not brandish any weapons. Now, the identity of the deceased has not been disclosed, but needless to say, he's dead, and Mr. Guerrero is now probably going to go to prison for a little while. Because even though Florida's stand your ground law allows for the use of deadly force when there is a perceived threat of death or significant bodily harm to oneself or others, but does not permit it solely for the protection of property. Can't do that. Legislature needs to change the rules. Otherwise, you go to prison like Mr. Guerrero more than likely will go. Now, manslaughter refers to a killing that occurs spontaneously and somewhat in the heat of the moment under Florida law. Now, Guerrero is currently detained at the Broward County Jail, and the bond is set at $25,000. GameStop has not responded to the request for comment, but my guess is they do not condone Mr. Guerrero's conduct. And more than likely, they're consulting with attorneys because they will be sued because their employee did a stupid thing. I get it. It's stuff. It's replaceable. You can't shoot people for that. You know, maybe if it was a car, a child, somebody's in the commission of a felony, it gets very tricky. But as a general rule, you have to be in fear of death or serious bodily injury before you can use deadly force, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little free legal advice for you today. But always check with your local attorney to see what the exact law is there. All right. Next on the docket, another major league or former major league player has been charged with murder. Yes, we had the football player last week, and now we got the baseball player not to be outdone. So an ex-major league pitcher was arrested this week in Nevada following a 2-year investigation into the 2021 murder and attempted murder of his father-in-law and mother-in-law. So Danny Serafini, a former first-round draft pick for the Minnesota Twins, was arrested by police on Friday in Winnemucca, Nevada, in connection with the June 2021 murder of 70-year-old Robert Gary Spoor and the attempted murder of 68-year-old Wendy Wood. Now, the sheriff's office has stated that Serafini was arrested the same day as the suspect, Samantha Scott, who was also apprehended in Las Vegas. Now, the sheriff office notes that the arrest come 2 years and 4 months after Spoor was found shot to death in his North Lake Tahoe home, while his wife, Miss Wood, was taken to a nearby hospital where she recovered from her injuries. She died about a year later, and during the early stages of the investigation, the authorities had looked at the home video surveillance system, leaving them with footage of a hooded male wearing a face covering and a backpack walking to the residence several hours before the homicide actually took place. The information and the evidence led detectives to gather this information, and they identified Serafini and Miss Scott as the suspect. Both suspects are known to each other, and they knew the victims. As the police noted, Serafini and Miss Scott will be extradited from Nevada to California next week. Don't know what it is with these athletes these days, thinking that they can go around, I don't know, killing people. Get over it. I remember Serafini played for the Rockies here for a while. He must not have been any good if the Rockies had him, and I think the Rockies finished with the worst record in baseball, so nothing's ever getting any better here. Maybe I don't know, if they took their energy out, played good baseball, maybe it would help the Rockies. I don't know. And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. So this dumb criminal tried pulling off a stupid crime in Illinois, got arrested for it, and then it happened again. Not too smart, that's for sure. And then add insult to injury that it took place on Friday the 13th. A little unlucky as well. So the guy's first arrest was in Joliet, Indiana. Happened just after 8 a.m. on Friday the 13th. The suspect was pulled over in his vehicle when police discovered he had an expired registration. No big deal. But then his driver's license was suspended, and the truck wasn't insured. So guess what? Oh, he had a warrant out for his arrest as well for previous violations of a similar nature. He was arrested, and then he was released out of custody after posting a small amount of bail. Guess what? His second arrest occurred later that same afternoon. Again in Joliet, the police were called to his home after he pushed an older woman during an argument. The suspect resisted arrest. The officers were concerned about the well-being and took him in for an evaluation. After he was cleared, the man was taken to the jail again. So this unidentified man clearly not having a good day. What do we say, ladies and gentlemen? All that traffic stuff, it's a gateway crime. If you can't follow the simple rules of license, registration, insurance, next thing you know, you're going to be killing people, attacking people, stealing Pokemon cards. Who knows where it will lead? Good legal advice here, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the law. Don't break it. I know there's some stupid laws out there, probably worthy of being broken, but don't do it unless you want to face the consequences. All right, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.